Your top stories this evening sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. Guyanese importer involved in luxury car duty evasion. Vehicles retagged before entering Guyana. Canadian ambassador urges Guyanese to speak up as EU report amplifies call for urgent electoral reforms. Universal Church fires pastor after viral parking confrontation. We always teach peace, not war, says the church. Women and Youth Agriculture Project launch, supported by New Zealand. And in sport, the Golden Jacks secures commanding 4-1 victory over hosts Antigua and Barbuda. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Wednesday, November 19 edition of the HGP Nightly News. Happy International Men's Day to our menfolk. Here's what you need to know this evening. Canadian investigators have uncovered a suspected Guyanese luxury car duty evasion ring as explosive audio recordings emerge. Investigators say the recording could be the breakthrough needed to unravel a network that, up until now, operated in the shadows while profiting handsomely from weak oversight in Guyana. Here is more. Canadian authorities appear to be closing in on what may be a massive transnational luxury car duty evasion ring with roots in Guyana, following the discovery of explosive audio recordings believed to feature a prominent Guyanese car dealer giving detailed instructions on how to illegally alter vehicles before shipment to Guyana. According to sources close to the investigation, the recordings capture a Guyanese high-end auto importer in talks on how to retag or revin luxury vehicles before they are sent to Georgetown.
So I would have to tell you, okay, what to ship the vehicle as. Remember, you retagging the vehicle, so I can just tell you, okay, what to ship the vehicle as. I can get all of these vehicles sold. What is this guy named Lee? You know Lee. So all the vehicles I want Lee them sent to Guyana, all I clear, all I dealt with. All the vehicles and Saracen previously I clear and dealt with. Who else I used to get vehicles by?
Retagging, investigators say, is the illegal practice of altering a vehicle's VIN or engine classification to disguise it as a lower engine model. This deception allows importers to evade billions of dollars in taxes and duties, depriving the Guyanese state of significant revenue while flooding the streets with high-end cars at suspiciously low import values. The Guyanese importer also reveals bold claims of corruption. In an audio file obtained by Nightly News, the Guyanese importer speaks confidently and without hesitation, bragging that he has customs on lock in Guyana and that nobody checks anything. He repeatedly assures the exporter that paperwork is irrelevant, customs inspections are non-issues, and that shipments would be smooth because he allegedly has key connections in place.
Yeah, I got people here to control, and I got the entire Guyana good. You have no issues in Guyana. These ports, once you can give me good prices at the port, once it doesn't matter if Guyana don't have market for port, it doesn't matter what kind of vehicle it is, honestly. It can be a Chinese vehicle now. Once the price is right, anything would sell.
At one point in the recording, the auto dealer claims he already has 2 duty-free arrangements lined up for expensive vehicles he wants sent, an apparent reference to fraudulent access to duty exemptions intended for legitimate beneficiaries.
I could tell you, okay, what to retag the Ford as and what to ship it as. And then we can take it from there. The range, I can sell a range fast for you in Guyana. Fast. Either retag that range and send it as a 2-liter. You know, the Range Rover Sports come 2-liter. You retag it and you send it as a 2-liter. So when they punch in the VIN here, a 2-liter engine come up. Or you can send it as a Villar, or you can send it as a Range Rover Evoque. It doesn't matter. Once it's Range Rover, you can send it to anyone. Don't worry, customs checking our vehicles and them. I can do all of that.
In one of the more telling portions of the recording, the man declared he does not do business in the United States, saying he doesn't like to mess with the US. Instead, he boasts that he feels safe operating through Canada and the Caribbean. A detailed Canadian investigators reportedly found significant given the country's increasingly strict vehicle export monitoring systems. The recording could expose what law enforcement officials suspect is a long-running, well-coordinated luxury car smuggling and duty evasion network, potentially involving both local and overseas players. Such a scheme could help explain the surge of ultra-luxury vehicles entering Guyana under questionable declarations, often listed with improbably low values or reduced engine capacities. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Meanwhile, Canadian High Commissioner to Guyana, Sébastien Sigoin, has urged citizens to demand action on electoral reform after the release of the European Union Election Observer Mission final report on the 2025 general and regional elections. Here's that story.
In a public statement posted to his Facebook page, Canadian High Commissioner to Guyana, Sébastien Sigoin, said that the European Union Election Observer Mission report, which includes detailed recommendations for reform, should serve as a wake-up call for Guyanese. In the statement, he urged citizens to demand action on electoral reform, while warning that Guyana's electoral system does not enjoy public confidence. While acknowledging that Election Day was calm and that the process saw incremental improvements, Ambassador Sigoin stressed that much work is needed to strengthen the country's democratic machinery. Quoting, "Democracy belongs to the Guyanese people," Sigoin wrote. "So speak up, call on your elected representatives, on your National Assembly, on your government to take action and make the changes needed so that your electoral process is truly free and fair. It is your right and your responsibility," the ambassador stressed. The EU Observer Mission's final report released this week outlined several key areas of concern with amplified calls for immediate electoral reforms, including a full review of the composition of the Guyana Elections Commission. According to the mission, reforming GECOM is essential to ensuring inclusive and impartial decision-making. The report noted that the 2025 elections were conducted in an atmosphere marked by low public confidence in the election administration, particularly among the political opposition, sections of the media, and some civil society organizations. The EU is urging legislative changes, governance restructuring, and long-term reforms to restore trust ahead of future elections. High Commissioner Sigoin's remarks echo that call, placing responsibility squarely in the hands of voters to push for accountability and meaningful action. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
After a viral, ungodly confrontation with a driver in Georgetown, a pastor has been fired and the leadership of the church has since apologized. Here's more. The Universal Church of the Kingdom of God has fired the pastor at the center of a heated confrontation outside its Charlotte and Wellington Streets location on Monday. In a statement issued Wednesday, Pastor Dilip Chan Bilkari, president of the Universal Church of the Kingdom of God in Guyana, apologized to the nation and confirmed that the pastor involved has been relieved of his duties.
The board of the Universal Church here in Guyana has come to an agreement that this pastor has been disqualified from being a pastor here in Guyana.
Pastor Bilkari added that the board could not act earlier as disciplinary measures required a full meeting before a final decision was made. The incident, which was captured on video and widely circulated online, showed the pastor angrily banging on the vehicle and blocking its driver from leaving the area. During the outburst, the pastor insisted that the space outside the building was private property and that no parking was allowed there.
We always teach love, peace, and hope.
The pastor's identity, however, has not yet been disclosed by the church. Georgetown's Mayor Alfred Mentor publicly said the church had not been given any exclusive right to parking, and there was never an application to designate the area as private parking. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. May the good Lord be with the pastor. Stay with us. There is more news ahead. Welcome back to the HGP Nightly News. Men in the Caribbean have a life expectancy of 3 to 4 years due to sedentary lifestyles, leading to cardiovascular and respiratory illness. According to Presidential Advisor on Science and Health Care Modernization, Dr. Mahindra Karpan, there's an urgent need for men to prioritize their mental, physical, and social well-being. Antonio Day reports.
At a men's wellness symposium held by the Rotary Club of Saarbrück and other organizations in observance of International Men's Day, participants were encouraged to prioritize their mental, physical, and social well-being. This admonition was made by Dr. Mahindra Karpan, Presidential Advisor on Science and Healthcare Modernization, who expressed concerns over males not exceeding their life expectancy locally and regionally. He noted that oftentimes men short-live their spouses due to the sedentary lifestyles.
Men, not just around the world, but in the Caribbean, you have a 3 to 4 years shorter lifespan than women. Men are more than twice as likely than women to have premature death, meaning dying before that expected lifetime. And the main culprits for this, cardiovascular disease, liver disease, lung cancer, and motor vehicle accidents, and all the types of accidents in this.
The medical personnel noted that oftentimes men take high-risk jobs and do not take precautionary measures or adhere to occupational health and safety guidelines. He also alluded to the high suicide rate among men and the importance of regular checkups, which is unpopular among this group. He called on them to disband the idea of only visiting the doctor only when severely ill, reminding that prevention is better than cure. Rafiq Kazim, Assistant District Governor for Rotary Guyana, in his remarks and delivery, said that the male cohort can play an integral role in developing the lives of both young males and females to keep them motivated.
We believe that each and every one of you can help make a change and cause a movement that will see in the near future a Guyana with men of character, empathy, integrity, and resilience.
Meanwhile, Dr. Vindhya Prasad, Minister of Human Services and Social Security, in her feature address, lamented the surge in domestic violence and suicide cases, with men being either the victims or perpetrators.
What we saw was the troubling phenomenon of men killing women and then committing suicide. And it's something we need to explore. What are those triggers? What causes us to see that? And then in looking at that, we are digging deeper into healthier relationships between men and women.
The subject minister revealed too that through her ministry, that the government of Guyana is devising a new policy which will be introduced addressing such matters.
The Partner Assault Relationship Program. And we're looking at the whys, how can we help, support, unravel it, and how can we provide prevention methods to developing healthier relationships.
Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
9 distinguished individuals will be recipients of honorary doctorates when the University of Guyana hosts its 59th convocation exercise from November 20 through 22 at its Turkine campus. Marvin Cato has more.
The University of Guyana is set to host its 59th convocation exercise, and as part of its celebration, several deserving individuals well established in their respective fields will be conferred with honorary doctorates at its 3-day ceremony set to begin on Thursday. The distinguished individuals recognized for their significant achievements and contribution to Guyana, the Caribbean, and the wider world was drawn from several disciplines: business, sport, engineering, diplomacy, literature, music, agriculture, and education. In a statement, the university announced that, quote unquote, this year's deserving honorees represent excellence in embodying the university's commitment to national development, innovation, and cultural pride. Those making the illustrious list are Sir Ronald Saunders, Kamal Samaru, Nicolette Finance, Egbert Carter, Grace Nichols, John Agard, Mohindra Prasad, Terry Gadraj, and Clement Sankat. Current ambassador to the OAS Antigua and Barbuda, Sir Ronald Saunders, has been hailed as a transformative figure in diplomacy, Sir Saunders will be conferred with his doctorate at the graduation ceremony of the Faculty of Social Sciences on Saturday, November 22nd. Mr. Kamal Samaru, the Executive Chairman of Demerara Distillers Limited, DDL, has been recognized as a foundation of the local business community. Nicolette Finance, dubbed the Squash Queen, is Guyana's most decorated and successful professional female squash player and will be conferred with an honorary doctorate. Mr. Egbert Carter's illustrious career in civil engineering, environmental planning, and heritage preservation, Grace Nichols, a celebrated poet and author, John Agard, a renowned poet and playwright, and Mohindra Prasad, the executive chairman of Nan Prasad Group of Companies, Terry Gajraj, renowned throughout the Caribbean and beyond for his iconic chutney and soca hits, and Professor Clement Sankat for his distinguished career in engineering, education, and research, round out the identities of the 9 individuals. The university stated that the recipients' work exemplifies the values of leadership, innovation, and service, inspiring the next generation of Guyanese and Caribbean citizens. Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Guyana's election fraud trial continued on Wednesday, where Ambassador Sister Ryan Singh took the stand to give key testimony on the events surrounding the March 2020 elections. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
Day 41 of the election fraud trial continued on Wednesday before Acting Chief Magistrate Faith Magusti in the Georgetown Magistrates Court. Says Narayan Singh, Guyana's ambassador to the Netherlands, testified in the main trial. In his evidence in chief, Ambassador Singh told the court that during March 2, 2020 general and regional elections, he served as a supernumerary agent and observed ascertainment, validation, and verification of the District 4 tabulation process. He said the March 2 voting process proceeded smoothly and without incident. However, on March 3, 2020, Singh testified that he was instructed by then opposition leader Bharat Jagdeo to go to the Ashman's building, where he observed a heavy police presence. He told the court that Clement Mingo, former returning officer for District 4, entered the room and began the tabulation process, which initially moved swiftly. At around 9 p.m., Mingo returned to the tabulation room and announced that staff had been working for over 12 hours and that the process was suspended, although no one left the room. Ambassador Singh further stated that around 10:45 p.m., Roxanne Myers entered the room and informed party agents that Mingo had fallen ill and had been taken away by ambulance. The following day, Myers re-entered the tabulation room and informed those present that because of Mingo's condition, she would take over the verification process. She indicated that the process would be carried out by several clerks under her command, including Mitchell Miller, Sheffrin February, Denise Cummins, and an individual identified as Duncan. The witness's testimony was cut short after prosecutor Madana Ramprasad had to leave to attend to a family emergency. Ambassador Singh is expected to resume his testimony on November 20, after which he will face cross-examination by defense counsel. The charges in this matter stem from investigations into alleged attempts to manipulate the results of the March 2020 elections. In total, the defendants face 19 conspiracy-related charges. The prosecution has indicated that approximately 73 witnesses will be called throughout the trial. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
This is the HGP Nightly News. Stay with us. There is more news ahead. Welcome back to the HGP Nightly News. We tell you now that the Guyana Technical Training College, in partnership with the government and major oil companies, are offering training for young people to hone their skills to meet sector demands. This was according to Clement Sankat, director for the institute. Antonio Day will tell you more.
The Guyana Technical College Incorporated, GTTCI, in partnership with the government and major oil companies, are offering training for young people interested in jobs relating to the petroleum sector to enhance their readiness. This was highlighted by Director for the Institute, Professor Clement Sankat, at a recent youth forum held at the Guyana Marriott Hotel in Georgetown.
There are actually 4 areas of specialization that we're working on to train you. I meet young people, they all want to get into oil and gas. Well, if there's a sure way you want to get in oil and gas, get here, come to Berbice in Port Morant.
Professor Sankat informed that GTTCI's efforts are supported through the Facilitator for Technical Oilfield Resource Factor, a training initiative launched in 2024 with backing from the government of Guyana, ExxonMobil Guyana, Hess, CNOC, and SBM Offshore Guyana. Over the last 2 years, the Port Moran campus began setting up a new lab, and once completed, it will offer residential facilities and increase technical training capacity in the country. SANCAT noted that the facility represents a significant milestone as it prepares to issue globally accredited advanced technician certificates to graduates for the first time.
This began as a concept 4 years ago in the office of the president with the vice president and the head of Exxon Guyana, Mr. Rutledge.
SANCAT divulged too that students can have hands-on experience in fields relating to production and electrical engineering necessary for the oil and gas sector. SANCAT, who will over this weekend be conferred with an honorary doctorate from the University of Guyana, also took the opportunity to guide students on other job opportunities available.
Mechanical technician in a process plant, responsible for installing, maintaining, repairing mechanical systems and equipment. And we also train cargo operators for the Exxon subcontractors. These people are involved in materials handling, moving materials onto the FPSO.
Earlier this month, 28 trainees enrolled in an 18-month advanced diploma in oil and gas at the GTTCI Port Moran Berbice campus, raised the total number of trainee technicians to 131. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
To end our lead stories, the CARICOM Secretariat Tuesday announced the launch of a new initiative aimed at strengthening food security and empowering key stakeholders across member states. Marvin Cato will tell you more.
The project itself, as you said, it's a woman and youth in agriculture project.
That was Sean Baugh, Program Manager for Agricultural and Agro-Industrial Development at the CARICOM Secretariat in Georgetown. Baugh highlighted the fact that the Women and Youth Agriculture Project is being supported by the Government of New Zealand, targeting the CARICOM region.
The aim is to integrate climate-smart agriculture, renewable energy towards greater food security and to contribute to the 25 by 25 food import bill reduction.
He also stressed that the target group will also benefit from training to ensure the project is a success.
What's exciting about it? It is combining all the elements that affect agriculture, that affects the region, into one workable solution.
According to Baugh, youths find it difficult to gain employment, so the project will engage and promote agriculture as a means to youth development, hence putting a spotlight on agro-businesses.
So what are the elements in the project? And this is something we're very excited about. One, we are providing just around 47 greenhouses to benefit in clusters around 188 women and youth in 10 member states.
Movement and proper storage of goods to avoid spoilage, improving the supply chain and keeping prices down throughout the CARICOM region is also part of the package. It is important to note that the capacity building component of the initiative is being delivered in collaboration with regional and international partners, including the Trinidad-based Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, CARDI, the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, IICA, and the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO. Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned for regional news.
Good evening and welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Regional News. I am Antonio Day. We begin with news in Haiti. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs on Tuesday said that people in Haiti are fleeing their homes in the commune of Tabari following armed attacks last week. UN Deputy Spokesperson Farham Haq, quoting the International Organization for Migration, said attacks on November 13 and 14 forced more than 600 people from their homes. Haq said that by the end of October, the number of people displaced by violence had reached 1.4 million, the highest level recorded in the country and up by more than a third from last year. Quoting, "With insecurity rising, we urge all parties to protect civilians and ensure safe, rapid, unhindered humanitarian access to every community in need," Haq added. On Monday, the leader of the Viv Ansem terrorist gang coalition, Jimmy Churchill, called on members of the population to stay indoors as the group intends to confront law enforcement officials in the streets of the capital, Port-au-Prince. Continuing with news in the Latin Americas and the Caribbean. The Assistant Director General of Food and Agriculture Organization, Rani Oriolala Hawker, says that the future of food, sustainability, and global stability depends on the ongoing 30th meeting of the Conference of the Parties, COP30, in Brazil, being more than a summit. Hawker, who is the FAO representative for the regional Latin America and the Caribbean, said that the event must be the beginning of a new era of climate action centered on agri-food systems. Hawker recalls that in 2024, climate shocks were the main driver of food crises in 18 countries, affecting 72 million people, experiencing high levels of food insecurity. Hurricane Melissa, which struck Jamaica, Haiti, and Cuba, is a recent example of the severe effects these events have on agri-food systems. Over the past 5 decades, climate change has reduced global cereal yields by 2 to 5%. Latin America alone, maize yields have declined by around 5%, and since 1961, climate change has reduced global agricultural productivity by 21%, which is equivalent to losing 7 years of progress. And finally, the chairman of the Caribbean Community Reparations Commission, CRC, Sir Hilary Beckles, on Tuesday urged Britain to rethink its socio-economic policies towards the Caribbean region, while criticizing some segments of the British press for suggesting that the call for reparation. Quoting, sections of the British media, rather than see the enormous hospitality of the Caribbean people, what you talk about is that we have come here to take money away from the taxpayers, he said. Sir Hilary, who is a leading 6-member delegation on a groundbreaking visit to United Kingdom to advance his advocacy for reparatory justice, told a news conference that there is no reason why Britain should be divided on reparatory justice for the Caribbean. Sir Hilary said in the 1960s, Caribbean leaders came here to discuss forms of support, noting that when Britain left the region, they left those little islands with no resources, bankrupt treasuries, no economic strategy, and that is what you left behind. He said the Caribbean countries got together and decided to seek independence, with the British government indicating if you want independence, you are on your own and not a cent from us. Thanks for watching. I'm Antonio Day. Goodbye for now and be safe.
Delvin Neblet now joins us for HGP's Sports Pulse.
Good evening, Guyana. I'm Delwin Neblet with your HGP TV Sports Pulse for today, Wednesday, November 19, 2025. We begin tonight with football. Action resumed in the 2025 CONCACAF Series with Guyana taking on Antigua and Barbuda at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium on Tuesday. The Golden Jaguars secured a commanding 4-1 victory over the hosts on the back of a sensational double from our nation's all-time leading goal scorer and reigning National Sportsman of the Year, Omari Glasgow. Stephen Duke McKenna and Ozazi de Rosario also scored once in a winning effort. More in football action continued tonight in the Ghana Football Federation's Division 1 Women's League 2025 with 2 fixtures at the National Training Center in Providence. The first match featured the mainstay Gold Stars versus GDF, while the second match currently underway features the Ghana Police Force FC versus Riversview United FC. Moving into cricket, action resumed in the 2025 West Indies Tour of New Zealand with the second ODI in Napier on Tuesday. Batting first in the rain-delayed truncated fixture after being sent in, the Windies reached 247 for 9 of their allotment of 34 overs on the back of a 19th ODI century from the captain Shea Hope, who remained unbeaten on 109 from just 69 deliveries. Nathan Smith was the pick of the bowlers for New Zealand, picking up 4 for 42, as Kyle Jamieson picked up 3 for 44. When New Zealand responded, they reached 248 for 5 halfway through the final over, as Devon Conway top scored with 90 from 84, and Rachin Ravindra played well for 56 from 46 to secure the series-clinching 5-wicket victory. The final ODI in the series is scheduled for 21 hours at Sidon Park in Hamilton on Friday. Into athletics, Khaleesa Smith secured Guyana's first medal at the ongoing 2025 Islamic Solidarity Games in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Competing in the women's 100-meter final on Tuesday, Guyana's reigning 200-meter national champion fought hard to secure a podium finish behind Ididiyong Odiong and Herverge Kole Itame. And finally, the athletics fraternity mourns the loss of a national champion. The Athletics Association of Guyana released the following statement on Tuesday. The President, Council, coaches and athletes of the Athletics Association of Guyana are deeply saddened to announce the passing of our colleague and teammate Damon Williams, who left us today. Damon was a talented athlete who proudly and capably represented Guyana and our association on numerous international stages. His dedication and skill brought pride to our nation and the Police Sports Club. Damon was known for not only his remarkable talent in the jumps, but for the unwavering discipline and passion he brought to the sport. His commitment to excellence was evident every time he stepped onto the field, focused, determined, and driven by a genuine love for athletics. He represented the spirit of perseverance, always striving to improve, always willing to push himself a little further and a little higher. Beyond his athletic achievements, Damon will be remembered for his humility, his quiet strength, and the respect he showed to fellow athletes and coaches. His presence lifted the environment around him, motivating teammates, inspiring younger athletes, and leaving a lasting impression on all who knew him. His passing has cast a shadow over our entire community. As we collectively mourn this profound loss, our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends. We pray that God grants them mercy, strength, and grace during this difficult time. The HGP TV Sports Pulse wishes to extend our deepest condolences to the relatives, friends, and family of the deceased five-time national triple jump champion, Damon Williams. May his soul rest in peace. That's it for this edition of the HGP TV Sports Pulse. I'm Delwyn Nevlet reminding you to stay in the game.
Guyanese importer involved in luxury car duty evasion. Vehicles retacked before entering Guyana. Canadian ambassador urges Guyanese to speak up as EU report amplifies calls for urgent electoral reforms. Universal Church fires pastor after viral parking confrontation. We always teach peace, not war. Women and Youth Agriculture Project launch supported by New Zealand. And in sports, the Golden Jack secures commanding 4-1 victory over hosts Antigua and Barbuda. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.